Hey, this is Tony with Salt Strong, and in this video I'm going to be discussing why you should use leader when fishing inshore, whether it be monofilament or fluorocarbon. Really comes down to personal preference there. Fluorocarbon does have a little bit of stealth on its side, but the cheaper alternative would be to use a standard monofilament leader material. Now, first things first, when you are fishing inshore, we're typically using braided line. Braided line has various advantages, everything from being very thin diameter and being very strong with that thin diameter. So that enables, better casting distance. Also, you can put more line on your spool if you need to. If you're fighting larger fish and they need to run, you can put more of that line on your spool than monofilament because of that diameter. So braid definitely has its advantages there. Now, the downfall of braid is that it really doesn't have any abrasion resistance. If that braid nicks anything sharp or rough, it will usually snap very quickly. Also with braid, it doesn't have any stretch. So when you go to set the hook on a fish or while you're fighting a fish, you could be putting, a larger hole in that fish's mouth and possibly pull the hook or straighten out a hook if you're using heavier gear. And then the last thing with braid is that it's not as stealthy in the water as, let's say, a clear monofilament line or fluorocarbon line. So those are really the main reasons why you want to use monofilament when inshore fishing, especially if you're using braid. Now, if you're running, standard, monofilament or fluorocarbon as your main line on your rod and reel, you really don't have to use leader unless you want to put a bite tippet, a stronger leader at the end to act as, a bite tippet if you're going after tarpon or snook. That can help with abrasion resistance, going a little bit heavier on the end of your line with a small section of leader. Or if you want to downsize, go even lighter on your leader if you're going for more of a stealth presentation. So going back to why we use leader material. First off, that shock absorption, because braid does not have any stretch, your leader is going to act as a shock absorber because it stretches and it gives. And then also abrasion resistance. Fluorocarbon and also monofilament are more abrasion resistant than braided fishing line. The softer the material you can get, the better the abrasion resistance. I have found that if you use really stiff fluorocarbon or monofilament leader, tends to chafe through a little bit easier. If it gets a nick on there, it's more likely to break. And then lastly, stealth, clear line is going to be more stealthy in the water. Fluorocarbon, states that it's a little bit more stealthy in the water. You don't get glare reflecting off of the fluorocarbon like you do with monofilament. That's that's really a big debate between monofilament and fluorocarbon. Which one is more stealthier? Is there really an advantage? Me personally, I've always used fluorocarbon, so that's what I've stuck with. If it's not broke, don't fix it, is what I like to say. So whether it be fluorocarbon or just standard monofilament leader, definitely has its advantages when you are fishing inshore using braided line as your main line. Now, if you do happen to need any leader material, we do sell this on our shop page at fishstrong.com. You can pick them up there. And if you are an insider member, keep in mind that you do get an exclusive discount on all products and gear on the shop page, so be sure to take advantage of that. If you're not an insider member, really missing out on really great discounts and also missing out on catching more fish. Our club guarantees that you will go out there and start catching more fish. So definitely be sure to check that out at saltstrong.com/pricing to see if you're a fit. So that will wrap up this video. If you have any questions or comments or any additional tips you would like to share when it comes to using leader when fishing inshore with braided fishing line, definitely let us know in the comments down below.